Hey everybody, another night, another movie, and unfortunately due to some circumstances, Blu-ray Friday has technically become Blu-ray Saturday, but whatever. I just got done watching 2013's Epic, starring Colin Farrell, Amanda Seyfried, Josh Hutcherson and Christoph Waltz. This one I've never seen before. It was cellophane wrapped and up until me watching this, and it's one that when it came out I really knew absolutely nothing about it. Um, I remember seeing like the just like banners on like IMDb and stuff, but I knew nothing. Like the trailers didn't give anything away, and generally I hadn't even heard of it. So anyway, there was recently a sale on Blu-rays on Amazon, and I bought a bunch. And this was one of the ones I thought was because you're given this impression from the adverts and the packaging and that visually it's that kind of thing that you should watch in HD. So I thought, okay, I'll pick it up on the Blu-ray. And yeah, for those who don't know, it tells a tale of MK, voiced by Amanda Seyfried, who her mum has just recently passed away, and she goes to visit her dad, who is this obsessed. He's like focused on this idea that there are little people living in the forest, riding insects and birds and stuff like that. And he is so single-mindedly obsessed. That's all he focuses on. He walks around looking at a notebook and looking at his computers and camera screens and stuff like that. And, when she turns up, he's just like, oh, that's great, look at this, you blah, 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 blah. And he's completely oblivious. And you know what, as an X-Files fan, there's something very Mulderish about this character. Just to that point where that's what he's obsessed with. That's the correlation, of course, that I had to immediately draw. But meanwhile, you find out that actually these little people do exist. And, like, there's these leafmen that ride birds everywhere, and they're the side of good, except of course there's the bad side, which are like all these bugs and beings that go around wearing like rat furs and stuff like that, and they are for bad, and they want everything to become dark and dead, and I think they were called Boggans or something. But yeah, you find out these beings exist, and I got a bit baffled by how, like, quite a few plants were, like, anthropomorphized, whereas other plants weren't. So I was like, well, how do you decide between which are and which aren't? That kind of bugged me. But there's this fight for good and evil, whereas a new queen is about to be kind of born via pod, and the Boggans want this to be stopped because the forest will be saved and everything will be beautiful and lovely and good if this queen comes to be. So they want to stop it happening. So they do everything in their power to stop this, and in the process the queen ends up getting killed purely by coincidence and accident. MK, who's in the forest leaving her dad's at the time, she gets shrunk down to these little people sized. I feel like I'm talking about dwarves when I talk, just tiny people. She gets shrunk down, and then it's her job to look after this pod before it blooms. And you're just really, it's more for the fight of good versus evil, and then you've got weaved in this whole, like, her dad being upset after he realises she's left and regretting that he wasn't so single-minded, and then them coming together at the end. It's very, it's your classic kind of good versus evil kids movie, except it's very dark. This is like a U, which is, in the UK, it means for everybody, including kids. Don't take your very young children to see this. My God, there was one scene where, because when the Boggans like hit anything with like their arrows and stuff, it dies. It dies off. And there's this one scene where this Leafman is riding a bird, and this the lead Boggan like stabs this bird, and then the guy looks down and he's riding this skeleton. I was just like, my God, that's awful. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this for young children. That, and it's an hour and 40 minutes long, and it drags at times. It really feels that length, and we're so used to like kids movies being 70, 80 minutes long, but this kind of pushes it, and I can't imagine children staying, you know, sat still for that long. And from what I've been reading online, actually a lot of kids were like falling asleep during this and that. A lot of people were reporting that. But it's a good movie, and it does look beautiful. It's wonderfully animated. It's your classic kind of. It's made by the same studio that made made Ice Age, and you know what, Fox, 20th Century Fox, their animation studios, they don't seem to put out the same kind of stuff that other companies do, and I feel like they've gone with a very safe story here. I mean, a lot of kids' movies now tell the same stories. I feel like they've tried to put a twist on this, but unfortunately, you do come away feeling like you've essentially watched Fern Gully, Pocahontas, even Avatar. It's not trying to push the environmental level in the same way that those kind of movies do, but it does go for that whole everything's connected and stuff like that. Also, especially with this movie, I felt like the Boggans were very much like, I can't remember the character's name for definite. Was it like Nexus or something like that? The pollution being played by Tim Curry in Fern Gully. There was something very much about like him, about these Boggans, which again drew an immediate correlation. No, you know, kids' movies, they have to play safe. They have to tell the same story. I feel like this told the same story, but didn't do it in the best childlike way. But you know, it's a good voice cast. It's weird to hear Beyonce as the Queen, and a Pitbull as this like toad, like gambling mafiosa. I'm not a fan of Pitbull at all, but it kind of, that role suited him, and I could just see that character looking like him. But yeah, the animation is very fluid. All the characters, it's weird because the humans look like a lot of stuff that gets turned out by Pixar and that. But all the animals, the bugs, you know, the caterpillar, especially the Mub and Grub, played by Chris O'Dowd and Aziz. I can't remember his surname, I'm sorry. They're so, like, they're made of jelly. And of course for like a snail and a slug, that's what works. But a lot of the others, it just felt, it was weird. I felt like I could like mould them, look like Play-Doh. But generally, otherwise, the animation is beautiful. I mean, there's this mouse in it, and it's just, the fur and everything about it is gorgeous. And I guess seeing this in HD helps. But I will say visually it is beautiful. Voice acting wise, you know, I've watched much worse voice acting. This one just worked. Everybody played off each other really well. I guess my only problem with this movie, if I really had to, I mean, it's very generic, it's very by the numbers and stuff, but that's not a problem. It's a kids' movie, and I love animation. So, you know what? It felt different enough for me to not go, it's exactly the same movie that I've seen over and over again. It was, in a way, just thematically, But otherwise, I could get past that. It was different enough for me to enjoy it. My main problem? Why is this called Epic? There's nothing really... You know, so many movies, like the title, either reflects... I felt like this was trying to big up itself because it didn't have much else to identify itself with. Because I didn't feel really like anything was epic about this. I don't know if they're trying to go for this epic adventure kind of thing, but it didn't even feel like that. At least something like Homeward Bound is The Incredible Journey or something like that. But this was just flat out epic, and I didn't feel like it was. You might as well just call it awesome or something like that. It's not epic. It's great. It's thrilling. It's, like I say, it's visually beautiful to watch, to the point that sometimes it feels artistic. But I certainly won't call it epic, and all I can assume is that they could not think of anything else to call it. The other thing is, I know at the end, is it the character's name's Nog or something? I could be wrong. At the end, I know he gets on like the hummingbird, but for most of the movie he's riding this sparrow, and I think art-wise on the front, it would have been nice if he'd been riding that, but I know that's a nitpick, because I know they're going for the general. I mean, in a way, that kind of gives away, you know, stuff that happens near the end, because otherwise you're only exposed to him riding this sparrow for like 98% of the movie. So that kind of says, you know, he ends up on a hummingbird at the end, which kind of, well done for spoilers, movie. But yeah, it's a fun movie, like I say, well acted, beautifully done, and from the credits I saw, like, most of everything, like, screenplay, original story, this, that and the other was done by, like, William Joyce or something, so it seems like one person was doing a lot of the creative stuff, obviously with other people as well, but it seems like William Joyce was primarily involved in a lot of the creating of this tale. Don't show it to young kids. Your older kids, like 8 up, maybe 7 up, I guess. I'm not really up with like what kids are watching these days, but it does get dark at times, and it has got some imagery that I can imagine being disturbing for children, certainly under 5. I certainly wouldn't have rated it U. I may have given it a PG or something, which is silly because it's a kids movie. Like I say, hour and 40 minutes long. You gotta put that time aside, and it does feel that length a lot of the times. It seems to drag at times even. But otherwise, really good movie. Really enjoyed it. It's not the best animated movie out there. I haven't seen Ice Age in quite a long time. We'll get to that soon. But it's certainly not as in the same vein as that. But I would give it a good 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was watchable. It is good. And it was entertaining. It just did feel, I felt like my time was being wasted some of the time. And like I say, there's nothing original here. But otherwise, yeah, just check it out at least. If you want to check out an animated movie that you haven't seen before, do check out 2013's Epic. I know I sound like I'm contradicting myself a lot, but this is one of those ones that kind of, it's not bad, but it's not amazing. Like I say, I would at least, 6.5 is a minimum. 7 would probably be more like it, my rating. I hate doing these number ratings because so many factors have to come into account, like just generally how I felt while watching it, and if I was able to sit and watch it the whole way through, in one sitting and stuff like that, if I got distracted in that or whatever. So many things come into play, and it's not always as simple to just go, that was an awesome movie, that was a shit movie. It's not always that cut and paste, and unfortunately, like I say, a lot of the times these things do leave me coming away going, I don't know what to make of that. But no, I'm glad I got this. I'm glad I checked it out. It's not one of those ones I'll be rushing to sit down and watch in a short time, but it is one, should it get put on in the future, Should somebody else want to watch it here, or should I be around somebody else's where they're watching it? I'm not going to go, oh good God, no, don't please take that movie off. And I will put it on in the future. But yeah, no. Anyway, sorry. Like I say, 2013's epic. We'll be back again on Monday with a DVD. I did see what it was and I can't remember off the top. Oh, I think it's a Richard Gere movie. That's it. But this was another movie night review. Please like and subscribe if you do. Please check out my other movies reviews. Please tune in on May to December's channel. 1, because he has an awesome channel, and 2, Monday night, 8:30 English time, 3:30 Eastern Standard. We do a geeky chat, Movie Magic and Gaming Gurus, where we talk about everything, TV shows, movies, games, etc., and stuff like this. So please do tune in for that, post your comments, questions, etc. Please share your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it, or let me know what your favourite animated movies are even. For now though guys, this is Sketch saying thanks and signing out.